Hello, if anyone's here. Hello. Hi, Facebook user. How are you? I don't know. They won't show your name. Hi, Scorpio. Oh, I'm so glad you found me. Welcome to you all. Would you let me know if you can hear me? Okay. I'm telling you, I'm such a novice at this. It took me forever to figure out how to go live. Again, I've forgotten. Hi, Samantha. And oh, I'm so happy to see all of you. Great. Thank you, Scorpio. And Allie, how's I had such a good time today. I've been walking on air. There's my son there. Hi, Jason. Thank you for checking in. Ambiotic synapses is my son. I wanted to tell you today was really memorial for me. There were so many people in there that I felt so close to you all. And I want to just tell you, oh my God, I'm so thankful for you. Tonight I'm going to be talking about my business. And we have some founders, that have to have some help with getting into the back office and whatever. So it may not be up your alley as far as psychic information, but I wish you would listen anyway because you might find out some things you really want to know about on passive. Hi, Juno, darling. Good to see you here. It's so nice of you guys to support me. You just don't know how much I appreciate that. I don't know how many on passive people I'm going to get tonight. I'm trying to get a few people to get signed into their back office because we're just on the brink of launching. And everything is so critical right now. And there's so many people uh, that are out and about. We're waiting for Obless to come online and we get our links so we can include everybody uh, in our groups. And everybody's so tense that we're waiting on nobody's sleeping, everybody's staying awake. And today I went before I went to Allie's show. Allie, it's so good to have you here, honey. um, I was talking with our founder. Chris Johnson is his name, and everybody knows Chris because he handles everything about Obless. And today there was some there was a man that we all know. He's a founder also, but he takes care of orphan children in Africa, and he has over 400 children that he's a single man all on his own. He was kind of thrown away when he was born, and he gathers up children that are living out of the dumps and they don't have any food and no clothing or anything, and he's educating them. He's a teacher. He has a building, and they had a terrible storm, and it blew the windows out of the building, I understand, and the roofs off both of the two buildings that he had managed to get for the children. He feeds them all. He does just, oh, Juno, thank you, honey. If I knew how to make you all um, give you wrenches, I would, but I don't know how to do it yet. I will the next time you come in. Anyway, I was telling you about this young man. A whole bunch of us got together and uh, we gathered what money we could together because Oh Bless is not officially launched as yet. So, but we wanted to do something for those children. And I tell you, the group of people that I have been associating with on Passive for 4 years are the nicest human beings on the planet. Everybody jumped online to help this young man and his kids, and he calls them all of them his kids. And they're from babies, little babies, to he's found, like on the streets and uh, uh, in the garbage dumps. Can you imagine? And and he calls them all his children. And so he was so ecstatic that we were able to get him the money to get started, to get the roof back on the buildings, and to get some food for the children. So we've been doing good things this week with On Passive. And I just want to say something to the On Passive founders. My God, I am so blessed to know all of you. You rise to the occasion. People say, well, why? You've been in for 4 years. Didn't you get tired of waiting? And to tell you the truth, I didn't get tired of waiting. I was anxious, like everybody else, for On Passive to launch because every day I learned something wonderful about another person. And we all have become just like family. I mean, if you can imagine 1 million, 1,549,000 founders being family. Okay, Jace, I see you, honey. I'll figure that out in a minute, okay? I don't think I can do it that way with Restream, Jace. I have to do it differently, and I can't. I'm not quite sure, but I will by next time, honey. Thank you for trying to help me get straight here. Bless his heart. Can you imagine having a mother like like his nutcase mother? Oh, good evening, Lauren. How nice to see you, darling. Thank you for being here. I am so pleased to help everybody. But you know, you you're a beautiful soul, Lauren, and today was really nice to connect with your spirit. I was very, very pleased. I got, I hadn't ate all day. I hope you guys got time to get something to eat because I didn't realize how hungry I was. And I thought, oh, I'm going to dribble all over my pink shirt. I can't eat anymore without dribbling down the front of me, it seems. But I had to laugh. I was so hungry. I said, well, I want to eat before I go on. I'm going to stay up pretty late tonight. So if you guys from the YouTube channels that we were talking today, if you have questions, I think I can put your. I'm going to try something, Lauren. Hang on a minute. Click. I'm going to click on you and see if your comment. No, it didn't. I was trying to see if I can click your comments up on the screen. Hi, Barrette. Thank you, darling, for stopping in. You guys are just the best people in the world. I haven't got my group that are underneath me from On Passive on yet, but I hope. Oh, did your comment show? Oh, terrific. Okay, so I could figure that out. See, I'm not totally a nutcase. Great. Allie, you know what? You are such a godsend. I I knew that we had Allie and I think we could sit and talk like two old friends for 24 hours. Okay, Jason, it is love. Glennis, how are you, sweetheart? How good to see you. How have you been, dear one? Oh, I miss you so, Glennis. Glennis is a friend of mine, long-term friend of mine from down under, from Australia. She's a marvelous soul, and I love her dearly. And I can hardly wait for her to join us in some of our shows on YouTube. If she can get in here, then she was having trouble for a while getting in, and so you would love her. She's gorgeous, beautiful, blonde, just as sweet as we've been through a lot, haven't we, Glennis? I am so ready to have you join me. I have missed you, darling. Blog Talk got way too heavy there for a while, and I just had to back away. But this is so much fun, Glennis. I hope that you start to, we'll start having regular shows so you can come and join me. And I love you always too, honey girl. How's your daughter? Your beautiful, sweet daughter. She's always so supportive on Facebook. God love her. Hi, Kim. Same here. Thank you for coming in. And Vivi, oh, you are so, so special to me. Glennis, I got tears in my eyes here seeing you. It's been such a while since we've been able to connect. Glennis and I go way back. Oh, thank you very much, Kim, for being a new subscriber. I need all the help I can get. I'm a complete nutcase when it comes to YouTube. I got two channels, and I'd like you to join both of them if you will, please. I'm going to be doing our regular shows with Allie and stuff on Willow's Place 7. That's what it's called, Willow's Place 7. But my after hour shows are going to be mostly for ONPASSIVE and information about ONPASSIVE. I am I want to tell you about Oh Bless and ONPASSIVE. Oh Bless is going to be for us in on YouTube and for the kind of people that we are. You were all helping somebody all the time. Um, we're going out, we're doing crowdfunding, and our CEO, Mr. Mafara, was so tired of seeing people do crowdfunding for people and they'd only get like 50% of what they collected or 10%. And he has created a platform where we give the whole amount to the recipient. They get 100% of what you collect. And unless we have an administrator that takes a fee, like say, for example, I wanted to manage a foundation or something, then there might, the individual may take a fee, but Mr. Ash takes nothing, zero. The company takes nothing. So we can do crowdfunding for everybody we love. When we see them in trouble and their houses are taken away with storms and stuff, we could be online in 5 minutes creating a GoFundMe for them, getting them back into their houses or into a house. I cried and cried over the people. That's okay, Kim. We won't tell anybody you snore, honey. I promise. So if you go to sleep, go ahead, honey. Uh, I thank you, Juno, for that too. Hi, David. How nice to see you. God love you. It's good to see you. David is from down under too, aren't you, Dave? You're from across the drink, as I say, and he's an ONPASSIVE founder. He's one of our brilliant, lovely ONPASSIVE founders that I am so in love with. There's so many that um, are so admirable, and he's one of them. So I want you all to welcome him. He is a great human being. But you're in New Jersey, huh? No, you're not. See, I got you mixed up with the other boy. I call y'all boys. You're all babies to me. Um, this from Australia. My friend Glennis is here from Australia, David, and she is such a love. I think I got Australia on the brain. I would go visit, but I'm scared of the snakes over there. Glennis, you know me, I'd run from those buggers. Glennis has, when she first bought her house, she had brown snake invasion, and I tell you that you must have nerves of steel, Glennis. You and Richard, I don't know how you did it, but they're deadly. Those snakes are deadly. Those brown snakes, and they just handle it like it was, you know, nothing to worry about. Hi, my little. Oh, bless you, sweetie. Thank you for being here. Anyway, I want to tell you about. Listen to me rattle on. I'm so glad to see all of you. Um, I want to talk about where we go now with my ONPASSIVE group, and especially about Oh Bless and the things that we can do. I have been planning, and you all know that I have been a counselor for battered women for about 40 years, and I am a volunteer counselor for 3 battered women's shelters. And so some of the women have been waiting and waiting to get enough money to get out of the shelters and get into another country for their safety and things, and to get out of the area that they're in for their own protection. I tell you, I could I could write a book about that, how we used to collect money to get people, women and their children, out of harm's way. And so now it's going to be so simple when we see, people today. There was a young man, they were looking for his mother just out of Texas. I think it was where they had a tornado touchdown. They couldn't find his mother. But those people suffer terrible. And we can help. David, you're right. We can help so many. It's going to be amazing what we can do. And in a snap of the fingers, we can do it. We'll have it at our fingertips on our desktop if we want to create a crowdfunding um, um, source. Right away we can do it. We don't have to go through another company. It's right there on your desktop. And if you have joined Oh Bless, you will be able to do it anytime there's a need for it. And when we have 1,500,000 and some thousand founders, when you create an Oh Bless project, even if all of them just donate $1, you know that you're going to be able to fulfill your needs. And David, I agree with you. I think that the way Ash has ONPASSIVE set up, most poverty will start to disappear between 1 and 5 years. And we are so blessed, Myra. Myra is an artist and a sweet, sweet lady with ONPASSIVE. She does backgrounds for people, and she is so kind. I love her dearly. And I want you to meet my spiritual friends, psychic friends that come to support me tonight, because I told them I was going to do a show, and I was on one of their shows today. And we were doing such fun things. And yes, Ash is. Ash is our founder. In case those of you that are here with me, do not know, his name is Ash Mafara. And I have worked in the industry and in so many industries for all of my life. I sometimes, I have to hold my breath because he's doing everything so differently. With ONPASSIVE, for women especially, he has leveled the playing field. Let me tell you, when you get out there and you have to compete with prejudice and with denial, I love you too, honey girl. He has made it where we don't worry about color, we don't worry about race, we don't worry about gender, we don't worry about age. Anybody that can stand up and that can be devoted to helping others, we're welcome into ONPASSIVE as a founder. He made no bones about it that he was going to change the world. So when I got in 4 years ago, it was just a dream of all of ours that we could change the atmosphere. And we found Ash. I was led to Ash by Archangel Michael. And when I identified what I'd been looking for when I first heard him, I knew that we were on our way, and I have never given up, not one day since we started. So I want the new people here that don't know about ONPASSIVE to know that he has made a way. There's no more founders. He's not accepting any more founders. However, he has created a new way for people that are subscribers. If they want to become a reseller, they can. And he said over and over again, he said resellers can do as good residually as the founders. We just have a first, we kind of get in a little bit before, anybody else does. But being a reseller with ONPASSIVE is going to be unbelievably beneficial to you. And you don't want to pass it up. If you join and you buy one product, you can request to be a reseller. And I say, by all means, don't let that opportunity go by, because soon he might not be able to do that. I'm not saying he's never said that. So I always said he's going to have resellers. But don't let the term reseller fool you. You don't have to sell anything. They do it all for you. And with the reseller position, what makes it really, really fantastic is if you buy a product and you sign it for the resellers too, well, in 3 months, you're no longer paying your subscription. Other people are paying you to use the software. So you can build that way by being a reseller. They take your website and they put it out there and they create it for you and they distribute it. They drive traffic to it, and then you collect commissions. That's how it works. You don't have to do anything else if you don't want to. Now, I want to get all my friends in. I want to share. I want to tell everybody. I know that's my big mouth. I can't keep it shut. I say, I'm not going to be able to sell. I told Ash, I said, I'm not a salesperson. He says, oh, you could sell your grandmother. And I had to laugh. I said, I am a grandmother, but he's a lovely human being. And one of the things about the products, for example, we're going to get All Connect this week. And what All Connect is, you're going to die to have it. And there are people standing in line right now, big businesses just waiting. It is like Zoom, but you can't even compare the two. It's almost a joke, between all of us. We know what O Connect has. You can have, for example, if you were in a church, a large church, and you had a whole congregation, you could have your entire congregation in a webinar and have hundreds and thousands to spare, room to spare. You can do so many things with O Connect that I said I wasn't going to get into the definitive part of it tonight, but I am going to give you an overview. It is so secure. The security, there's no hacking. Well, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes they can find a way, but it's such high security. It's all AI, high tech. You're protected. Your name's protected. Your site's protected. You are surrounded with security, and we have our own databases, so you don't have to pay any money to store in the clouds. You pay a subscription. That's it. And if you become a reseller, soon you don't even pay that. So it is we were so excited last week because we all got to try out O Connect. Nobody wanted to go back to Zoom. Nobody, not one of us. I switched in my heart immediately. I said, I'm on board. It is fantastic. So there's other things besides O Bless and O Connect. There's 4 free products he's giving away just at the beginning of the launch, so everybody knows, and you can get it right now, even without any links or anything. If you go to ONPASSIVE.com, he has an email system that is above any email system I've seen in the world, and he's going to let you have it for free. It categorizes all of your clients. It puts them all in certain classifications for you. You can send out 1,000, unlimited emails a day. It is so great. It's free. That standalone software, if we were just putting that on the market only, we would become millionaires from that product because it is so superior above any that I've ever seen. So when I say I get excited over ONPASSIVE, there are many parts of it. There's so many parts of it. You can't have them defined in one night. And they have it, and they're coming out little bit by little bit. But the ones that I'm excited about are ones like Create, where you can create your own website. It's like touch finger creation to create your own websites. They have Create, they have Odit, which will be a software where you can create your own videos. Hello. Oh, Mike, how good to see you, beautiful man. I am so excited. I want to introduce Engineer Mike. He's living in Canada now, but he's originally from Bangladesh, and he's a lovely soul. He has a heart as big as Texas. Myra, I'm excited about Create too, and I think it's the artist in it. I can hardly wait to get a hold and make all those posters and everything. We'll have it right on our fingertips. Mike, I'm so glad that you're here, honey. I can't tell you how you make my heart sing. And ladies, let me tell you, this is a gorgeous man. I'm not too old yet to oogle a good-looking man. He's a gorgeous soul. Or ogle, is it? Not oogle. I don't even know how to say the word. Anyway, he is a charming human being, and he's done so much for his home and he's brought in people that couldn't afford to pay the $97, and he's bought them founder positions. My little friend Jeannie is here too, Jeannie Oliva. I miss you too, Mike. I've been so busy, I can't tell you. Um, Jeannie Oliva gave me two positions um, in on passive founder positions out of the goodness of her heart because this woman can sing, she can write, she can do everything. I mean, I yet to see her not be able to accomplish anything that she sets out to do. She's an exciting spirit. I see her spiritually, and she glows from within. So does Myra. And so I was so thrilled with knowing these people and the caliber of people that are in on passive. Yes, we're brand ambassadors. That's what they call us on on passive. And Mike has to remind me because I forget who my own name, let alone what title they're giving us now. Um, Jeannie Oliva went out one afternoon, and I just kind of want to talk about the people that are. Oh, Glennis, you would not want to miss knowing these people if you'd see them one time. Jeannie went and she met this little homeless man. I call him a boy because he's a boy to me, and he's autistic. Mark is his name. And she sat on a bench and she talked to him and talked to him, and she bought him a position with founders, and she bought him a trumpet and opened him back up to music that he had been missing for a long time. And he come on, and we were so excited to have him. And he was homeless, but he was not unhappy about being homeless. Was he, Jeannie? He was beautiful. He was a beautiful soul. And when he got involved with ONPASSIVE, we were so tremendously excited about it. Glennis, if you'd see Jeannie Oliva and hear her sing, you would think she should be in Hollywood. You know, she's just so gorgeous. I'm I'm a little bit prejudiced because I know her and she's so good, but she's not just good on the outside. She's good on the inside, clear to the bone. And I am very privileged in knowing her. I don't know why she wasted time on an old woman like me, but she's always there for me. And there's other women within ONPASSIVE that are dynamic. Not that I'm putting our beautiful men down in any way, I'm not. But I'm so proud of them because, Mike, I tell you, there were uh, so many that were afraid to get up in front of the camera. I've been online for years, but never in front of the camera. Here I am fiddling with my scarf. Pretty soon I'll hang myself if I don't be careful. Um, but the caliber of people that we have in ONPASSIVE is unbelievable, Glennis, unbelievable. And it's because of the faith we have in our founder family and our CEO. He has not failed us, not 1 second. He's come in and kept us all in the loop for 4 years. And anything new that's come up, we're included. He lets us know. He gives us webinars. He gives us love and caring for us. And you'll never see it again. I never seen it before, and we'll never see it again. Patricia, oh Patricia, hi darling, how are you? Patricia is another one of our founders, and she has a breathing disability. Not a disability. She overcomes all of her disabilities, and she has live. She goes live practically every day, don't you? Don't you, honey girl? You go mostly every day. But Pat is a Christian, a true Christian. Now, I don't use that word lightly. Um, she she lives her word. Hi, Judy, darling. Good to see you, darling. I haven't seen you live lately. Oh, you're all so great. Patricia, you don't just try. You do one damn fine job of it. I am so proud of you. I remember us talking. Remember, 2 or 3 years ago, and you were having such difficulty with breathing then. And when she got in on passive, I was really worried for her. I prayed for her every night because she struggled, and she got stronger and stronger and more into what she was doing. And she become like a shining light for all of us. You know, we kept gravitating toward Pat because she had strength we all needed. And I was delighted to know her. I feel so very blessed by the people that are in on passive because of like people like Pat. Those of us that have lived on fixed incomes, we struggle to make ends meet. There really wasn't much for somebody over 65 years of age to find a job anymore. And this rolled up out of nowhere, out of a man's heart. Hi, Jolene Frank. Oh, sweetie, thank you for joining me. Now, this is my dear friend for years and years. I'm so happy to see her. She's so psychic. Girls, when we get Jolene on our shows on YouTube, she'll blow your socks off. She just walks around and I think she gets zapped on a regular basis with downloads, but she is a marvelous. Uh, oh, Facebook will not let you put your name in here. I don't know. I was trying to connect with those on Facebook too, and I couldn't. They wouldn't let them post their names. But I want you. I want you to know some of my psychic friends that are on here too. We have shows on Facebook and on YouTube, and these are really gifted people that are working for the good of everybody. Oh, there's our Chris. Oh, darling, I'm glad to see you. Chris has just got out of the hospital and he's back working already. Chris Johnson, ladies, is the man that is the head of he's working on the Bless project. He is phenomenal. He laughs. I mean, he's going to be going in another 100 years, let's say, to his funeral laughing. He doesn't know how not to laugh about a situation. It could be the worst situation in the world, and Chris will find some humor there. He's a marvelous human being, and we love him. Hi, Tracy. Welcome, darling. I'm glad you're here. I had no idea how many people are here, but I'm very excited about having all of you. Um, there's oh, Shaw, thank you. Thank you for that, sweetheart. I'm very glad to see you too. This is mostly about my other work. I'm going to do another show this week on Willow's Place. And I'm going to be talking about, I think, just kind of like what Alex and I did today. I mean, Allie and I did today, finding out what you guys want to know about and how we can arrange it. I told the ladies today about ONET on Passive, and it's the perfect place where we can take our groups uh, and give our classes if we want, and it's private. Their information is not sold like it is on Facebook or anything. It's completely highly secure. So I love you too, Chris Johnson. You make my heart sing. I cried when you went in the hospital, and I was on my knees and I asked the good Lord to to just heal you there. I don't know how you got out so fast, but I am so very grateful to Archangel Michael for protecting you. You're a lovely human being. Thank you, darling. Anyway, I was telling people today about Old Bless. I got sidetracked there when I saw old Christian, his lovely face, and Tracy. Um, I'm going to be doing shows on having classes, and I want to take my. I have problems with Zoom, and people's identities get stolen. And I don't know if you're a counselor or a spiritual counselor or a psychologist, and I'm both, that when we handle very sensitive information. And so when people come in and I have a Zoom consultation with them, I'm worried to death all the time that I have other people and prying eyes on her very or his very personal information, and they are too. And so O Connect is going to provide us with the safety that we need when we talk to loved ones. Like I talk to women in the battered women's shelter, and we arrange consultations through Zoom. And a lot of the women that are in Chris knows this too, a lot of the women that are working for social services uh, do their consultations, through Zoom. And we're all nervous about it. I mean, I have women that if any of their information, private information, got out, they could be killed easily. And that just scared me to death. And so when Ash first told us about O Connect, and he told us about the security and about how they didn't sell the information and how they could handle if we wanted 3,000. Can you imagine Linda Grindle having all of her following on one webinar? It's possible with O Connect, and it's going to be fantastic for the women on YouTube that are running their own businesses. And I was really excited today to let others know about this. I'm not a salesperson, I'm a lousy salesman, but I'm a loving soul. And those that I love, I want you to know about this. I don't want to keep it to myself. I don't want to hold back and not let you take advantage of something that by God's going to save our souls down the line. Not only will we be able to help the people we want to help, but we'll be able to help our families and our loved ones and those we see. Like Sherry, for example, today needs to get surgery on her eyes. The minute I get a link, I'm going to get a link to Obless when it comes up. She's going to be my first project on Obless. And we're going to get her eyes fixed. And we're going to get her a place to live that it's her home. She doesn't have to share with anybody anymore. She'll have her own bedroom. I have a little lady, and Jolene will tell you. Jolene and I, over the years, have seen women come and go in terribly tragic situations, and we were unable to help. We could help to a certain extent by support, but we never had the money, enough money ahead to go and replace their house, for example, or replace a car. I had a young girl just recently. Oh God, if I make you cry, don't be mad at me, please, because I cried over this. She was walking 28 miles a day to work at the fish place. What is it, Long John Silver's? And her husband had left her. She had 3 kids, and she had to depend on social services for any child care she got. Well, when you work for places like Long John Silver's and McDonald's and places like that, you can't say, I can't come in, my babysitter didn't show up. And especially if you don't have a car, you have to leave 2 hours before, you have to go show up for work. She was in such dire straits. They finally did get her an older car. But I tell you, people think just because we live in the United States that we don't have that kind of poverty. And when Ash says we're going to eliminate poverty in every way that we can, I would kill before I'd back away from ONPASSIVE. It is the best thing that's going to happen to all of us. And it's not just the United States, it's international. It's in Bangladesh, it's in Taiwan, it's everywhere. It's all over India. India, some of our biggest buildings, our offices are in Hyderabad, India. And we have a staff of people there. I'm crying. See, I'm thinking of that little girl walking down, and I can't hardly stand it. But anyway, I want to tell you about a project that our friend Chris and Marty started with the people of Papua New Guinea. These are people, they don't have internet connections. They get internet through the boom boxes. They walk maybe 40 miles to get into civilization. So if they have a bad cut, they have to carry their wounded on their backs into town to get medical care. These are the strongest women. There's a woman, I tell you, she comes on and she takes us to church every single time. She is so enthused about ONPASSIVE. But Ash has done, and Marty and Chris have done so much to get them all connected with ONPASSIVE as founders. These women have to carry a gun to protect themselves in the bush. They don't have law enforcement. They don't have anybody to protect them. They're the toughest women I've ever run across in my life. I would bow down and give them a salute, and I'm a tough old lady. But I tell you, they, inside, they're treasures. I really have to admit, I didn't know much about Papua New Guinea until I got into ONPASSIVE. And there's other communities just as wonderful. But I just especially love the women there. And the man that got them all in, he's, I think he was a banker first. I'm not sure. but then his wife died. Anyway, he is spectacular too. And during the signups, when we were getting signed over to our system in the OES part, where we got new um, email system, OMail system. It's called OES, excuse me, OMail uh, ecosystem. He, I forgot, Chris and Marty and 3 or 4 of the other leaders, they signed up for 3 or 4 nights steady that I know of, because I would look in on them in my mind's eye, and they were still signing up people from Papua New Guinea because they didn't have any, they couldn't do it themselves. They didn't have an iPhone, they didn't have a cell phone, they didn't, we take things for granted in the United States. I don't have a cell phone because they won't allow cell phones in our part of the country here. And I can understand that. That's really a disadvantage because everything is based around a cell phone anymore, but they don't even have that. And so all of our founders that were able, that could volunteer with Chris's group especially, they volunteered to help each and every one of them get signed in, signed up, doing what they had to do. And it was miraculous. I was so proud of them that I'd think about them and I'd cry, because if anybody needed it and they needed the help, those lovely people, their government does nothing for them. And Ash has made it where they can get an, that's another thing that's coming very, very soon. We'll have our own online bank. We'll have our coin system. Within ONPASSIVE, we got everything. You won't need any other thing. You won't need to buy any other software from anybody once you get in, because it is all there. Everything is there. And he has worked through all the kinks, and he's going through the beta testing. And when it is really fully operational, you're going to hear a boom around the world, even in Papua New Guinea. Trust me, that's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. I'm 82 years old, and I'm looking forward to another 20 years. It gave me a new lease on life, ONPASSIVE did, and I wouldn't take anything in the world for that. But now, having said all that, I want to talk to my ladies that are in my website ladies on YouTube. These lovely, totally. Oh, there's Marty. Oh, I didn't see you, sweetheart, in the bottom because it didn't scroll down for me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, Marty. I'm winging it, sweetheart. Oh, you're such a darling for coming. You don't know how much I love you for this. And Anita, oh, and there's our Pat. But anyway, I want to talk to my little heart and soul lady. I was on a show today, and we were doing some readings, and we were talking, and the time just flew by, because the people. Chris, you're so bad. Anyway, I could see him in my mind's eye. I could see you really clearly, Marty. Clearer than you think, I guess. Anyway, the time flew today because the people that were coming in were so like our lovely people in Founders and ONPASSIVE, that you could feel their souls vibrating. And we had such a good time learning about the shift and how the raising of consciousness is so important in the world right now. Mr. Ash is chosen because he's way ahead of his time, for one thing. The shift is happening, whether we like it or not. And we're all going to be raising our consciousness. We're not going to be able to accept the ugly things in the world anymore. We're going to see a shift so drastic in the next 5 years that when I say shifts, I want to explain something between our our knowledgeable psychics and those that just put up with me and I never explain anything I should. The shift is happening in front of our eyes and it's coming in waves and it's providing us with choices, presenting us with possibilities that have never been available to us before. This wave is making it possible for those of us that have been stuck in 3D matrix for so long to get out. And the second wave operates differently than the first. I remember when the first part of this shift started, the function of the second wave is to provide harmony. And I think in order to achieve harmony, everything that's not of the light, everything that does not exist in the well being and balance is being destabilized as we speak. It's being cleared away so we can see what is really important to our lives. We spent so many years trying to gain things. And this wave is releasing all of those dysfunctional patterns on every level. Now, what is needed is people with good character and integrity that will dissolve the old and rebuild with the new. We're going to be seeing different patterns of energy and light and knowledge and wisdom. And it's coming in this first wave. The psychics and I, we were talking today that we're seeing things happen so rapidly that the second wave is coming in to fill up the first wave, and we still haven't adjusted to the first wave. But these transformative waves are allowing all of us to rewire, reconnect, realign, remember who we are and where we came from. Your God is my God. My God is your God. And we're here to accomplish the impossible, they say. But like a tsunami, these waves are coming over us and they're stepping up in intensity. When you see the tragedies, don't grieve for them. Don't grieve for the past. Don't grieve for those that want to live in the past and keep you stuck. Open your heart to God and everything that's possible because it's coming to us if we allow it. And there's a universal law called the law of allowing. It's my favorite universal law of all because growing up, I grew up as prejudiced, not against I wasn't a racist. I was prejudiced about people that didn't do things the right way, I thought. I was judgmental. But in our hearts, we knew that's not the way to be. And what is happening now is because our prayers have been answered. We have succeeded in a way that we far greater than we anticipated 20 years ago. Our prayers in front of us are being answered, but hard times are upon us. And the only way that we can return home to the heart of the Creator and who all that is through compassion, kindness, wisdom, knowledge, and forgiveness. How can we expect forgiveness for ourselves when we're so shallow? We never practice it in our own lives. Is it going to be easy? Hell no. I'm fretting every day. I'm down on my knees and asking for forgiveness on a regular basis. But we were playing in a playing field now that is finally leveling out. We're finally seeing the light of day. And as women, trust me, this old girl knows how it is to get out there and struggle in corporate America. When I worked for the government, oh my God, in heaven, I don't know how I survived it. But I'm here to tell you, things are shifting. Just look at the political field right now. Just look at what's happened in 5 years. COVID, the collapse of our government almost in front of us. You see the tsunamis, you see the volcanoes. I'm an earthquakes barometer. I feel them all over the world, and I know when they're coming. So I'm telling you, we're going through the shift whether we want to or not. And why not do it in an environment like Mr. Mafara has set up to shift the money? His idea was to take that pyramid they had built, turn it upside down, and those at the bottom that had nothing would receive the majority of what there was to receive. And he did. He did it. He fought and he battled to get even those where he had to have permission in government to accept the fact that it wasn't going to be business as usual again. He was going to take care of his people. He was going to take care of those he loved. Mr. Ash and his wife, Ash, her name is Ash also, go out. What they do for relaxation is they go out on the street where the homeless people gather and they load up their SUV and they take the children with them, the cutest little buggers you ever seen in your life. That baby, he calls him Chunky. He's the cutest baby. But he takes them with him. And they sit and they talk to homeless people. And he feeds them. Then he helps them. Then he guides them. And one of his directives to our friend, Mr. Johnson, was, let's find a way what we can do for the homeless. What each and every one of us can do for the homeless. And like I was telling everybody about our lovely friend Jeannie, how she went out on the street and made friends with an autistic boy that plays trumpet like a true musician that he is. And she sits on a park bench with him, brings him a sandwich, talks to him, one-to-one, like a human being. And this wave that is starting is going to wash over the world. Trust me when I tell you that. It's already coming. It's already started. Little Chris had his, I say little Chris. Chris is a big boy. But he had his program yesterday helping the children, the man from Africa I was telling you about. Mr. Johnson is the one that was behind all that and getting help for those children, over 400 kids. And this little man, I think he's so tiny. When I see him, I think, how can he carry that big a burden on such little shoulders? Well, we're here to help. ONPASSIVE was created for that kind of situation. It was created for that. So when I was talking to my friends today, psychically, and we were reading for people, I wanted to reach out and tell them, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. Keep going, because it's getting better and better, and we're getting stronger and stronger. When an 82-year-old woman can get up in front of you and preach for an hour over nonsense, you know that it's getting better, and it is. And I'm so excited about ONPASSIVE that I can't keep my mouth shut about it. I don't want, do you know, ladies from uh, the psychic community, I've been really good. I've only kind of give you little bits and pieces of it. I didn't try to wear you out before I got you in here to really talk to you about it. But I want you to know, like, we can help those that we care about. A little Sherry today that needs her eyes fixed, that she needs a home of her own. My little lady that's in the shelter, she has 5 kids. 5 kids. She weighs about 102 pounds, soaking wet. And her ex-husband beat her on a regular basis just because it felt good. She has no place to go. She had a father that was a worse man than the man he hooked her up with. She had a brother that molested her from the time she was 3 years old. So when we look at those kind of crises that are out there in the world, and we say, I say to my God, does it get worse than this? Is it worse than this? And I'll hear the download where it's so bad in some places that we can't even discuss it. And it's happening in the United States. We don't all live like the Kardashians. Trust me, I'm a farmer. I live in the boonies. I like to grow my veggies. I like my animals. I like to grow my own food. But it's a shovel to the mouth kind of existence. You don't get rich being a farmer. Trust me. I'm not all labels. I hear people labeling us. I'm not all of that. I'm one smart cookie too. I survived all this time by applying myself when it was necessary to to things that meant something to me. When I went to work for the Department of Corrections as a correctional counselor, it meant something to me. I felt I wanted to help someone. But when I got in there, God works in mysterious ways. Like I told Allie today, the first job that I got was within the institution was counseling pedophiles. I was ready to quit that day because I said, I can't do this, Captain. I can't do this. He said, yes, you can. And I did for almost 4 years before they removed me and put me out on the floor in with worse worse than the pedophiles. But what I'm saying is, we do what we have to do to survive. Ash has looked at the situation, and in his brilliant mind, he said, I can do this. I can change this dynamic. Just give me the opportunity. And he has done it. Every piece of software that he has created with his group is bigger, better, faster, prettier, nicer than anything that's been out there for the last 10 years. If it's not perfect, he won't launch it. If it doesn't help somebody, he doesn't touch it. His heart is not about money. And he told us that the other day. People think I don't listen. I listen to everything you say, all of you. I go to all your webinars. If I'm not visible, I'm in the background with my woolies on, and I don't want you to see me with my ski cap in my house. We were so cold there for a while. I looked like a bag lady. So, but I'm there and I'm involved with my heart. And Marty made a very, very succinct statement the other day. He was talking in his live, and he said to us, it doesn't matter if we don't come from the heart. That's how this business was started, from the heart. The heart-brain connection that Heart Math teaches, and all of us that are psychics, we know about that, and we practice it every day. But we've got to teach other people that they've got to get their heart and their brain in sync. They've got to lead with their heart. It has a bigger brain than the mind does, let me tell you. And we've got to learn that heart-based decisions, those that we make on a day-to-day basis, if we involve our heart with our minds, our intentions are going to be pure. And we can't do it if we don't have the heart, and we don't employ the heart to help us. My prayers start with, please show me the way. How can I improve today? What can I do to help someone today? What can I do to help myself? Teach me to shine my light on people that need it. Teach me to grow with every person I see. Listen. Learn to listen. Learn to listen and hear the people that are talking to you. Don't just let them say something and say, okay, and you start talking. No, listen. Listen with this part of you. Listen with this part of you. And you'll see where the need is. That's what Ash does. He listens. He sees. He moves out into the world in real time. And he sees the impoverished in India and Africa, Bangladesh. And some of the people have taken advantage of him, of his goodness, too. And that's to be expected, because there's going to be a lot of failures before everything is the way we want it to be. But one thing that ONPASSIVE is doing for me as a human being is boosting my faith in mankind. Boosting my faith in people and humanity. We are all carrying pieces of God within us. We're born with it. And we're finally remembering where we belong, where we're coming from, where we've been denied access, what we've been denied access to. Has nothing to do with money. Though a lot of people say, if I just had another $1,000 a month, I could take care of my mother. If I just had $50 a week, I could get food enough to feed my family. And they get caught up on the wheel of social services and welfare because they have no other way, no other place to go, and they got to feed their kids. Single mothers crying for recognition. You think we can't help them? You bet we can. And it's all going to start when that wave starts rolling. I've been there. I've been there where I had to rob Peter to pay Paul. Our little Marty, God love him. He not only had to raise all his kids, got to raise all his grandkids now too. And Dawn, she works from morning, first up, last to bed, routine. I did it for years, and I know exactly how she feels. And sometimes it feels rather unappreciated. But I found that the people around me, it wasn't because they didn't appreciate me, they just didn't know what to say because they were caught in the same battle for survival. That's all going to end with ONPASSIVE. And you say, you're a Pollyanna. Willow, you're just a Pollyanna. No, I'm not. I'm a very smart, educated old woman. Been through hell and back. I've drove horses. I drove beer trucks. I ran over Volkswagens with my beer truck. Back it into the station. But I'll tell you what, I learned a lot along the way. And there was times in many years, in the 70s particularly, I thought the good would never show up. The really good people were in hiding. And it was hard. It was hard then, but nothing like it is right now. Key Wendell. I wish Key was here tonight. Key Wendell is a healthcare provider like my grandson. My grandson worked during the COVID disaster until he could work no more. Key Wendell had terrible things happen because he never got any rest. He never got any care himself. And he almost died. He's another founder that's out there working for kids, for people. And he come to us the other night. We weren't really looking at him, but I was looking at him. And he said, I just come from resuscitating a 9-month-old baby that had taken her mother's Oxycontin. And he was devastated because life has become so hard for the teachers, for the healthcare givers. ONPASSIVE has created a way where we can educate our kids out of the public school system if we gather together. Teachers can get online and sell their courses far more money on O Academy than they can going out in the public schools and teaching. Teachers are teachers in their heart and they can't quit. But they can be beat down to where they have to quit, like Key Wendell is. So when we ask ourselves here, what are we going to do for everybody? Well, you can't think that way. Do like Marty says. He says, think that that person down the street that's already got the idea of how to help people, help him. Contribute to that source because you know it's going to go in the right direction. I wanted to start feeding and providing fresh vegetables for the food banks. Well, they've got a system in place that I didn't know about until my good friends here on YouTube told me about it. And it's Feed America. And all of these little girls that earn their own money here, trying to, help their families and everything, take 10% of their income to Feed America. And they go and they provide food for the food banks across the country. I'm going to invest in that. That's one of my first places, because without food, you can't survive. So I'm going to lighten up here. No more preaching, I promise. I want to tell you how you have touched my heart tonight by being here. I was a little afraid because I didn't want to initially I thought I was going to go on at midnight, and I couldn't. My husband got sick again, so I couldn't continue. And Rob and Lynn took up the slack, and they got this fantastic show at midnight. And I want to tell you all about Rob and Lynn. And I want you to go to the midnight show. I forget what they call it. Marty, what do they call it if you're still here, honey boy? Or Chris? It's late night with Robin Lynn, I think. I'm not positive. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the comments. But they just chat and they talk about On Passive. And they talk about what the On Passive founders are doing, how they're getting along, how each and every one of them are surviving, what's coming up next. Oh, I want to say something to our On Passive people. The last info I got, you probably got way more than I got. Um, Tracy, you asked a question of about who. May I ask who Ash is? Ash Mafara is the corporate executive officer of OnPassive.com. It's an AI company that is going to launch, almost as we speak, in the next week or two. It's going to start launching products, software products driven by AI. They're some of the best that's ever been created in the world. And our group, who we call Old Founders, are people who joined 4 years ago. Usually, most of us have joined for at least 4 years in the development of this company, and we watched Ash grow it into a behemoth. I mean, it's huge. And anybody that got in at the beginning, we're just, you can just pretty well know that we're taken care of for the rest of our lives because of Mr. Mavara's insight. And he has carried us on his back all the way, helping, solving problems, working with other countries, working with other governments, creating the software, hiring the people. In Hyderabad alone, his employees are given new cars. They're given perks that other companies have never even thought of giving their employees. They're one bunch of happy campers in India, let me tell you, in Hyderabad, because they work for Mr. Mafara. He is, to me, Tracy, he's one of the best human beings that I've ever run across. I can't. How can how can you not look like you're? We used to call people that talked up their boss brown nosers. That's a terrible thing to say. And I never want to be accused of trying to impress my boss for some favor. But it's hard not to love the man. It's hard not to be grateful. When we've seen how much he's done, it's almost impossible to say, oh my God, you know. And when we see people who don't even know him or even understand what he's doing, throwing rocks at him, well, you want to see 1,459,000 people get angry, go ahead. Just do that because we know better. And when you throw out trash, it comes back to you 100-fold. Remember that. When you're just attacking people because you're ignorant, there's a special place for you. It's not in my house. It's in God's house. So I tell you, I am a loyal ONPASSIVE brand ambassador. But I'm also a mother that cares for my husband who's ill. I'm also a psychic who reads people's hearts and spiritually guides them when they ask it of me. I was a correctional counselor. I was a psychologist. I was all these labels. But I'm much more than that. I'm a crusader for ONPASSIVE. And I intend to be till the day I die. Because when I can see 405 little kids touch our hearts so much that we all jump on the bandwagon. I was broke this week. I was waiting till we got our money again so I could give Chris some money. But that's what everybody does. Like Pat and all of us, we live on fixed incomes and we still manage to give. That's why I say it's not about the money. Not about the money. It's about the heart. And we're learning from a master about sales and about how we can better ourselves. I want to take little Sherry that's in YouTube, and she has problems with her breathing like Pat. She's losing her eyesight. I want to go to Marty's front room. I want to sit amongst all his grandkids, and I want to shoot the bull with him for hours on end about what we're going to do in the next years of our lives. I think that we deserve to let people know that we are first and foremost human beings. If I don't hang myself with this scarf, I'm going to have to take it off. We are first and foremost human beings who want, out of the goodness of our heart, to find a fairy tale world that nobody cries, where nobody cries, where no harm can come to our children, where we can send them to school without an AR-7 taking their lives away. And am I telling you that Ash is going to provide that for us? No, I'm not. He is giving us tools to use to make the world better. Is he a savior? Of a sort, he is. But he's developing tools for us to make our lives simpler, for we can be with our families more instead of working. Like our little Chris, he worked for 30, 40 years, day in, day out for one company, automobile company. And now, when it's time for him to retire, he's got sick. That happens to all of us, Chris. My husband, myself, my body's worn out. However, the tools that Ash is providing for the world, like Oh Bless, Oh Academy, which we've barely touched on. We've just told you a little bit about it. And Oh Connect, Oh Net, where you could take your groups from YouTube and be safe with them there. Say what you want. Keep it private. Keep their information private. Nobody will be selling their information on ONET. Trust me. I think that I have to tell you this. I'm sorry, I am not monitoring chat very well, am I? Jason, you should have saved me, honey. There is a saying in my world. I'm half Native American. And my dad used to say to us, "Don't take your problems to the street, girl." And that meant keep your mouth shut because nobody cares. And that's true in many ways. But I want to make it possible in this world when that little girl that's walking 28 miles a day to work at Long John Silver's can feed her kids. And we can give her a hand up where all of her income's not going for rent. People that are renting to her are charging her $1,500 a month for a 1.5 bedroom apartment. Is that disgraceful or what? We're not going to find a fairy tale. That's not what Ash has told us, even. He hasn't even claimed that. What he's given us, the means that we can create a better world. And that's what this shift is all about in the world. Coming out of the matrix, standing on our own 2 feet, providing assistance. And like our Marty says, we are our brother's keeper. And the faster we recall that, the quicker it's going to be to reach the kind of goals we want to set and reach. You can have good intentions. If you don't put action behind the intentions, what do you got? Good intentions that fall through the feather. So when you're manifesting things, let me give you a little insight into manifesting. Say you want, like I want this farm. Oh God, Lord, I want this farm so bad that I can't sleep at night. I'm dreaming about it. But when you do manifest, examine your intention of why you want what you're asking for. You've got to make those people or powers that be understand the intention behind your request. Because God tells us, ask and you shall receive. But you got to know how to ask. You got to know how to use the tools that Mr. Ash has given us. Free gratis for the founders, practically. He's carried us on his back for 4 years. Never asked for another dime besides $97 to join. Never asked another nickel from any of us. We gotta learn how to use those tools in a way that makes this world a better place. So what he's created is miraculous. But what's even more miraculous is the kind of people he has been developing to put those tools to good use. I intend to be one, maybe only for 5 to 6 more years. I don't care. I'm going to make it as good as it gets for a lot of people. And that's what I want from you, each and every one of you. I want you to have those endless possibilities, like our little Pat parent tells us, endless possibilities. Oh, Sherry, God love you, honey. And my tipsy tea leaf lady is here. Boy, fellas, if you take a look at her, she's a honey. She is gorgeous, and she's funny, and she's brilliant, and she's a single mom working her fingers to the bone to stay alive. And we're going to help her, all of us. I'm going to come to you when we launch, and I'm going to say, Chris, this is my list. Show me what I do with it. Help me. I'm going to come to Marty. I'm going to say, let's get you a big enough front room where you all can sit with you, because we need you Don't you leave us behind. Septima, thank you for being here, sweetheart. And Sherry. When I come on to do this shows on YouTube, I thought, I don't want to do this. I just got out of doing this. Oh, Susan and Philip's here. These are two of my favorite founders in the world. They're on my team. Susan and Philip Torres live in Oroville now, or close to Oroville. But someday they're going to live close to Willow because God told me so. You know, David? David says, I want to put up what David said, if I can. Read this. We hear this every day from those that are in ONPASSIVE. We used to think of the money we could make. That was our biggest push there for a while. Was how much money are we going to make, Ash? You know, it was natural because we were drowning in debt and we were trying to stay above the swamp. But he says it all. I love you, Susan. I love you, honey girl. And Anita and Myra and Glennis, my darling Glennis. Oh, Glennis, how I remember many nights of us hanging together, girl. Friend, I love you. And Lystra. I almost miss some of the most important people in the world. Dear Lystra. And who else? Oh, Gemma. Let me tell you about Gemma and Lystra. They're sisters. Gemma has white, iron, gray and white hair that's so beautiful that when I see her, I think of gathering all of us white-haired ladies together and we could take over the world. But what's even more important is Lystra and Gemma are two of the biggest givers in ONPASSIVE of their time and space. And not only that, they give when their heart's broken, when their body's tired, when they're ill. Nothing holds them down. They're really magical. I want you to remember their names, Gemma and Lystra. And Septima. And Judy Reyes. These are my people. And Myra. These are the ones that go out of their way to help a white-haired old lady like me and like Engineer Mike. God love him. He's one of the first that were here tonight, and I haven't hardly. I got to tell you about Mike someday. I looked at his soul one day. I said, I wonder what his story is, because I wasn't sure about him. I heard all kinds of things about people, you know, and you just kind of, you know, let it roll off your back. Oh, Indigo, honey, darling, Heather, I didn't see you, honey, and Deb, I'm so happy to see you here. Anyway, I looked at Mike, and I thought, this is a handsome man. He can't be all true, because anytime he would see me. He made me feel like $1,000,000, like I had value. And Ash was always telling us about value. Well, Mike, when I went to his webinar, he made me feel like a queen, treated me with more respect than my own kids treat me. And I would be forever grateful for him, for his respect for other human beings. He's a marvelous human being, and you'll love him when you know him. And he's cute. Ooh, very cute. I can say that because I'm old. I got to check and see if I missed anybody that's really important here that I just walked right out. Deb and Septima and Patricia. I think I got everybody this time. Jason, where did you go? You should have told me. Myra. Okay, I made you cry. Lisa, how are you, Lisa? And Samantha. Samantha, you bet, child. Teachers have the hardest job in the world if they're good teachers. My mother was a teacher of a one-room schoolhouse. She went from school to school to school to school teaching kids. She'd go out in the field because the boys had to work. And they think, oh, that didn't happen in California, did it? Hell yes, it did. There were boys working in the field when they were 14 and 13. And my mother would go out, and during their lunch hour, she would teach so they could pass and get into high school and get a diploma and not have to work in the fields the rest of their lives unless they chose to do so. When my mother died, and my father, and they had the funeral, 90% of the boys that she taught were at her funeral from all over. And when you see big old farm boys cry, you knew that she had touched them in ways that other people didn't bother to touch them. A teacher that can share the goodness of learning. We should prize our teachers. We should reward our teachers. We put our children into their hands and expect them to do our damn job. It's time that we change. There's something we can do about the teacher situation. And it's this O Academy I was talking about. I've just got universities standing in line waiting for that to be implemented. We're going to be able to, if we choose, create our own school systems for our children. We can hire teachers on our own to create the curriculum on O Academy and educate our children. Our children can learn from those overseas how the real world lives. They can learn music again. They can learn things that have been taken away from them in public education. Like that ding dong in Florida is doing now. He's burning books. They can't even read Catcher in the Rye. I was reading Catcher in the Rye when I was 5 years old. No, I was older than that, but I was reading the classics when I was 5 with my mother. They have disenfranchised teachers in our society. And it's time we change that diametrically, make a big change where that's concerned. And we can do it. I have friends that homeschool their children in co-ops out of Kentucky. Because in Kentucky, There for a while in the 70s, they weren't getting the kind of education they needed. And they developed co-ops between families. Their kids went on to become some of the best and most prolific children in college. When they went to college, they passed with honors. The musicians went on to become classical musicians, violinists. They were given value by their teachers. Each family member had to take the kids out on an adventure when it was their turn on the week. They had to show them something of what was going on in the world. These kids were so well-rounded. You know what? Kids are graduating now and they don't know how to write their name because they don't need to. They've got an iPhone. Not good. They took away the power of the good teachers and put in a substitute that has no heart. And we're going to change it. We're going to change it with O Academy. I'm going to put programs out on O Academy. I'm going to teach classes. I'm going to talk about God in my way. I'm going to talk about you, the psychic, that is looked at like you're some kind of ding-dong. We're going to change things because we can, because we're being given the tools to do so. And it's going to be miraculous. Thank you. Thank you for telling me about Rob Lynn Life. I love you, Myra. I'm going to keep my live at 9 too. I think too, because I don't want to infringe on Rob and Lynn's. They've got something that is so unique going. They are much loved and they fit beautifully in their lane. Marty's always telling us, find your lane. I know my lane, but sometimes I just got to break out. I can't do it all like everybody wants me to. I don't know. What would you like to know? Are there questions that you may want to know that I could provide for you about ONPASSIVE? Is there anything that you want to ask me, sweetheart, that you think that this big preacher can tell you? I'm going in a new trade, boy. I'm going to become a preacher like Marty. Marty got on his live. Oh, I think it was about somebody had hit him the wrong way. And he got on his live, and I was rolling on the floor. I almost wet my pants. I was laughing so hard. He was so fervent and so on target. I was saying, you go, Marty, you go, tell him, And my husband, he says, have you lost it completely now? And I was rooting Marty on, and Marty was preaching to the choir. We all knew what he was talking about, but it sounded so much better coming from Marty. So my friend Jolene is here, or she was here. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about Jolene. She has diabetes type 1. She worked in the food service industry. She's very well educated. She's a founder now. And when COVID hit, the food industry's bottom fell out. People were not going out to eat. People were not used in the restaurants. We were afraid. Everybody was afraid to wear a mask, afraid not to wear a mask. And it was, I mean, her livelihood dropped from very, very good establishments, down to nothing. And she hung on and she worked through it. Oh, Sherry, I know exactly what you mean. I'm going to change that for you if it takes me for the rest of my life, honey girl. Jolene had to buy insulin. She had $32. She went to get just one dose because she was losing her sense of being able to think. She was getting very disoriented. Guess what they wanted to charge her? Guess what she had to pay? Ended up paying over $300. And it only cost them to create it. The medical buggers that are out there, pharmaceutical maniacs, they're worse than the Orange Menace. It only cost them about $10 to produce. We're dealing with prices like that right now because whenever things start to go off kilter, the next thing that happens is the fascists ratchet up the money, where we can't afford anything. We're going to change that too because we're not going to do business with them. We're going to have the money and the power to say, Walmart, you're a has-been. I'm done with you. And the same with the doctors that charge those outrageous prices for pharmaceuticals. We're going to find another way. Trust me. We're going to find another way because that's what we do. That's what we're supposed to do. We're going to get this money situation in hand to where we can share the wealth. That's what Ash tells us. Share the wealth. He said to us a long time ago, about 3 years ago, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and then share what you got left. He says, that's all I want from you. I will make sure you are taken care of. I'll make sure you have a good income. Take care of others, like the homeless and the people that are hungry. And we'll change the balance in the world. I believe that. I believe it's coming because the shift, that's what it's all about. And if you're wondering why I kind of hinted in my way how I felt that Ash was chosen, was because Archangel Michael led me to him. And he had the tools to do what we're supposed to do. So I ask you, while you're looking around and you're wondering, well, am I going to buy a new car this year? Am I going to do this? Or can I get through this? Or can I get through that? Just think of those little kids, that 400 kids, that one little skinny man pulled out of the garbage, put clothes on him, and manages by himself practically to feed them all. Think of what we can do. Just think Oh, Aunt Kaylee, I didn't see you come in, honey. And Esther, hello. And Anita. Oh, some of my sweetest friends are in here, and I just love you. Welcome back. Whoops. Kim, did you wake up, honey girl? Uh, oh, Kim, you will love OnPassive if you're an event planner and a meeting planner. Ooh, we need you. You got to get in there, girl. As a reseller, I think that Jason's here. If you see his name, it's amniotic something. I don't know. Wait a minute. Um, am, Jason, what the hell's your handle? Ambiotic something. But he's in here incognito. He doesn't want to tell his friends that he's helping out his mother tonight. Anyway, I should I should say and let you guys go home because I've talked to you to death. I bet you, boy, somebody turned Willow on. We got to turn her off now. Oh, there is there is a way for all of us. I want to tell the little girls from I call them. They like they're like babies to me, and they think they're all growing up. They got a lot of growing to do yet. Anyway, uh, I want to tell you about OnPassive and how this is going to work. I want you to come and join me as and join OES system. As soon in this next week, we're going to get what we call our links and their connectors. I can give you the link. You can sign up for all the free products of OnPassive then and look around. Like Marty says, go and look around and see what what rings your bells. If you want to become a reseller, one of the criteria will be you can't sell anything unless you own it. So if, say, for example, you want to become a reseller and you have purchased one of the products, then you become a reseller of that product. So every product that you use of theirs, you can become a reseller with. So you can have more than one product. You could be a reseller of Academy, Bless, Connect, oh everything, oh everything, and so uh, it's a and you get commissions then on the people that sign up underneath you, and that's all it is. It's simplistic as can be, but it's a perfect system. And like Mr. Ash said, he took that pyramid and he turned it upside down to where those on the top are not going to get all the money in the world and all the benefits. And he's made tools to make our lives better. So, like if you employ people, we've got Odesk that's coming up, a perfect, and he's got a perfect human resource package that businesses want really bad. And I think that if I kind of fluctuate, I got to buy OConnect because I waited too long for it. But I think the very next thing I want to purchase will be that human resources package because it keeps track of your employees. And I'm going to have a farm where I have farm workers. Uh, and their how much you pay them, their days off, their birthdays. It is the best human resources business. You know how much companies pay for human resource personnel? Let me tell you, this package takes care of it for them. And our little Susie McRae, she's a top-notch human resource person, could not believe what this package includes. You could run a complete business and have all your human resources taken care of with this one package. And so you're going to have things to choose from like that, dependent on if you're in business or dependent on if you're just at home and want to have additional residual income for the rest of your life. And you don't plan on running any businesses, you don't have to. But if you have a business and you want to run it online, oh my God, it's got all the tools that you need. OnPassive will have every tool you need to manage your business. And so that's what you have to put in the back of your mind. That okay, my son and I had a online uh, business called Blended Herbal Treasures, and we made handmade soap and creams and medicinal creams and things for people's health. And we just barely kept our heads above water because we didn't know how to market. Well, if you put your business under OnPassive markets for you, you don't have to do anything. They'll drive the traffic right to your door. If you've got a small mom and pop business, take it to the marketplace. We're going to have a huge marketplace for the founders and end customers. I'm telling you, you don't have a clue what's going to happen in the next 5 years when 1,549,000 people hit the wall. And he's got one product that is they're looking into 50 years, that the progression of it is going to take like 50 years, I think he said. I mean, as a reseller, it just takes you a little longer to make the same amount of money that maybe a founder position would make, because we already kind of got a jump on it before you, but it's still the same process. So if you become a reseller and you have 150 friends that sign up underneath you, every time they buy one product of OnPassive, you get a commission. That's all. You don't have to do anything for that. Anything. You just got to watch your business and make sure you're getting traffic to where it's supposed to be. And I highly recommend that if you are a founder, one of the things you do is one of the two things you do is you provide additional traffic to your secondary founder positions, because it's going to help everybody underneath you. Ash explained that to me really carefully one day, and I was so very grateful, because I thought, well, yeah, I could run an extra 100 people by my business in one day, but what's it going to do for me? And he explained that if you help up here, it trickles down. This is one thing that does trickle down, is traffic. So you're helping yourself and the people that are underneath you that signed up under you. They're not really your customer. They're OnPassive's customers, but they're in your group, and you benefit from them. That's why I want you all on YouTube to become Willow's customers. No, I'm only kidding you. You can go right now to OnPassive.com, because we're not in competition with each other. That's one good thing I love about OnPassive. None of us are in competition with each other. And you could sign up, and he would just put you out under, another founder, but it doesn't make any difference. We're all working towards the same purpose. So, don't let this opportunity get by you. I'll go back to looking at your souls tomorrow, and we'll talk about how the world is going to be adjusting to the shift. Thank you, Rhonda. I love you too. And our sweet Susan and Philip. Lystra said, yes, it's all done for you. That's what Ash tells everybody. And they say, well, then how come you're out there trying to get people to come in? Because I don't want to see you do without. 90% of us, we don't have to go out and troll for customers. They're there. The minute he says, it's a go, we're going to be swamped, absolutely swamped. And we know it. All of us know it. Ash knows it. He's got people that have called him. They're all standing in line till it says, the button's pushed. Lisa, you don't have to know anything about business. You're thinking small. You know what happens, honey girl? The welfare system. I talked to my ladies in the Battered Women's Association, and they're absolutely terrified to give up their SSI. You don't have to do that until you make a lot of money, for one thing. You can still work until you're making more on ONPASSIVE than SSI ever thought of giving you. So you don't have to give it up the first day that you sign up for something, because you're not going to make that kind of money immediately. You've got to buy a product that they're going to have to advertise it out there for you. You got to get your website. They make your website. Don't worry about small stuff. Don't talk yourself into thinking there's nothing else besides SSI for my rent and food. Think bigger. Ash tells us, think big. And I'm telling you, think bigger. You don't have to know about business. That is the blessing of ONPASSIVE. You just got to know how to get into your account, and it's got things that show what's going with your account, and you just got to check it to make sure that you can get into it and look at it and see what it's doing. And maybe when you get better at having like a high-speed computer, you can see what product is selling more than the other. And so you put a extra amount of money on and say, I want some more traffic to Trim because it's not doing anywhere near as good as all these other things are. So you could do things like that, but you don't have to. You could just sit there and count your money after you become secure with ONPASSIVE. That's what he set it up for. For little old ladies like me, they don't have to tax our brain too much, Luckily, I've been in the computer business and on the computer for years and too many years to mention. I had the very first 4K computer in the world, I think. I thought it was. Do you know I made a lot of money with that little? All it was a typewriter, glorified. And I went to work for Regional Transit in Sacramento, California. And I was creating reports on that little machine. I thought that was God's gift to me, because I was able to work my regular job and work for them at home on my little computer. So now, 4K is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And look how far we've come, And if you don't know anything about business, you'll learn and you'll look. And once you have enough money where you don't have to worry where to find your next food, You're going to ask yourself, why did I get trapped into an existence I couldn't get out of? That's what social welfare programs do. I'm sorry to say, they trap you into being dependent, or technically, or else they trap you into being illegal. You know, you don't get enough money to really pay anything. So you'll work on the side and you won't tell them. I know a lot of my ladies do that, and they're running a chance of going to jail for a very long time. So you've got to ask yourself, there's something about being in jail and then providing you with food, 4 squares or 3 squares a day, and shoddy clothes, but it's in existence. And so you have to ask yourself the question, do I take a chance and grab that brass ring, or do I depend on crumbs from somebody else for the rest of my life? And they can scare me to death when they say Congress is going to shut it down on you. I've been through all that. I know that. And Lisa, let me tell you, there's no guarantees anywhere. You have to make your own way to feel good about yourself. I make more money than my husband, always have. And I'm proud of it because I was raised, go out and find your husband, he'll take care of you. Baloney. There's a lot of women out there raising their kids all on their own. So are you thinking small? No, honey girl, you're not thinking small, Lisa. You're thinking scared. And it's time to lay it down and say, I'm going to take a chance. And if I don't earn enough money to impact SSDI, I'm in no better, I don't have any worse problem than I had to begin with. And they will not take your money for rent and food. You can work. I don't know how many hours. I used to know because I checked all the time for people, but I don't know how many hours you can work. And trust me, you're not going to make $1 million, Lisa, right away. I'm not promising that. Ash is not promising that. None of us are. But you can make enough money eventually over time, in a year's time or so, to have a very good income coming in. And it's up to you too, how you use it and how you get started. But if you live in fear and you are afraid to take a chance, honey girl, you will stay right where you are forever. I have changed my job so many times because I was always looking for better wages as a female. I gotta make more money. I gotta make more money. I got kids. I got 5 kids. I gotta feed them. Gotta buy clothes. Gotta put them through college. And I would go again and again. And I'd have one job, and then that's how I got to be a correctional counselor because they paid such good bucks for a woman. They didn't have any women in there as correctional counselors. My sister and I were the first two that went into the state of California system with incarcerated all male institutions. And I'll tell you, we worked for our money. But I took that chance to earn more. And what you're doing with this is you're taking a chance to see if perhaps it will bring you in more peace, relaxation, and everything that you need, Lisa, than what SI can give you, honey. I hope I answered that correctly. I know the fear of letting go. There is a process I'm teaching classes on. It's called surrender. And by that, it's not what you think it is. It's learning trust in yourself that you're making the right, correct decision and believing when your heart tells you you're doing the right thing. When you put your hands into God's hands and say, okay, you've given me these tools, I'm going to run with it and I'll see what I can do. I may come back, but I'm not going to sit in the corner and not try. That's what I want you to do, Lise. I want you to try. If it doesn't work out, you've lost nothing. Because his products, this is another thing I want to tell you about the products. They're lower than you can possibly imagine, cost-wise, than any of the products that we're paying money for. Like Zoom can't hold a candle to him with OConnect. Couldn't even compare. You have to remember that Ash come out of nowhere and started implementing programs with AI when it wasn't really that popular either. People were afraid of it. And out of fear of AI, a lot of the medical advances were held back. A lot of people that feared letting go of welfare, for example, and taking a really good job because they felt they'd get fired and then they'd have nothing, missed the boat in a big way because they could have fulfilled something within themselves that gave themselves pride in doing for themselves. And listen, I don't look down my nose at anybody that's on SSI or disability or any of that. I do not begrudge anybody that's afraid because I've been there. I'm going to have to go, I think. I think they're shutting me down back at anyway. I want to tell you thank you for the bottom of my heart. I love you all for being here and for sharing with me. I don't know why chat is not behaving, but it's not. So I'm going to have to, we'll have to end it now. And then I'll send you off all with great love and with the hopes that you will believe in yourself and you'll believe in me when I say this is going to be another world in another year. I think you're awesome too. I could see you in a little bit. I don't know what I did. There you are. Huh. Okay. Mike, I'm so glad you stayed around, darling. You're such a special human being. You know that I love you. And Patricia, honey, take care of yourself. Don't push too hard. Susan and Phil, you are my special angels. You know I love you. They're on my team and they are super smart ladies. Let me tell you, Susan's like a steel trap mind. Oh, Maya, that is so lovely, honey. I love you all. You're all so very important to me. And I want you to know, no matter what you decide to do, it's between you and your God and your heart. As long as you intend to do the right thing, it'll be okay. Remember, it takes action and it takes heart, brain, intention to make things right in a world that's gone astray. So we're going to do it. And I want you guys that are our ambassadors, I want you to come and look at the world of the psychic a little bit too. I'm going to have shows on YouTube with my good friends that come and supported me tonight. And we're going to do some in depth study classes on learning relaxation methodology, how to learn to relax in a world that's gone to hell in a handbasket. I'm an expert at that. And I'll teach you how to manage your life skills in a way that you will make good intentions. And that's the key. I'm going to leave you with this one thought. When you buy a book this week, I want you to buy a book called Surrender. And any of Jose Silva's training manuals. You need to learn how to meditate, how to manifest, how to become secure in your heart and brain connection. Heart Math has got studies on that I can help you with too. Those are things we need to do because there's going to be so much conflict in front of us that we're going to be having to change. We've got to learn to keep ourselves together too, as ambassadors and as aides and as resellers and customers. We've got to teach companies that, hey, we're not going to buy your garbage anymore if you don't treat us right. Ash is laying down the groundwork for that. You know that. And we're going to go and tell other companies how to live pretty soon. Think of all those things that we're going to do. And it's going to be so exciting. And I'm so glad I'm alive to be blessed in knowing all of you and doing this kind of work. It is so exciting. I don't want you to miss out on it. I don't want you to let it go by. Promise me you won't, because we need you. Women are absolutely necessary in the business world, in other ways too. I love you all. Take care. Now I've got this screen in a way I can't even find a way out. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.